and welcome back to Shelf Talks, the podcast where we dive deep into the journeys of female founders bringing their product-based businesses to retail shelves. I'm your host, Roberta, and today I'm sitting down with Rachel Kane, the co-founder behind SprinkleBites. Rachel and her co-founder set out to solve the question, why can't fun foods also fuel our bodies? SprinkleBites delivers that playful nostalgia we love, but with real nutritional benefits, and consumers are starting to take notice. And I'm excited to hear her story. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So let's just dive in. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you were doing before you even thought about starting the brand?
Yeah. I come from management consulting and a very long time ago. And I just loved getting access to different industries, different job levels, thinking about like strategic problems and figuring out how to solve things quickly, all the foundational business skills. And then I decided I always dreamt of starting my own company. So on the side, I always had side businesses. I launched a digital marketing website for golf courses when they lost their business in '08 and the economy went down. I played Division I college golf for college. So that was always like a passion of mine. And I brought my business skills to that space. And that was really exciting. And then I just kept doing like charity golf outings and corporate golf events, teaching women how to use golf for business too. And so like companies like EY or Grant Thornton would KPMG, they'd hire me to come in and like give workshops to their executive women on
Oh,
using
that's
golf for
fun.
business. It was really cool. And then, my day job though was always in consulting or in tech. And then the last 5 years, most recently, I had the opportunity to work as an executive at an AI startup. And that's where I really got more confident in taking the actual leap in making my side hustle a real career in entrepreneurship. And I learned about fundraising and around managing a P&L and around, how to build a product from nothing, and how to price and package. So I just decided, why do it for someone else when I can do it for myself? And that's when I
Yeah.
started SprinkleBites.
As you were working at this AI company and thinking about opportunities to kind of go out on your own, had you had the idea during that time of SprinkleBites, or were you just thinking, I want to start something and trying to figure out what that was?
Yeah, I've always thought of business ideas, like always in the back of my head, and never acted on most of them. But when I got to experience what's under the hood of a startup, like of a business, right? And really know that presenting to a room of finance experts or tech experts isn't as scary as I imagined it being, I was like, I can do this for myself, right? So I talked to my best friend, Nicole. She had similar aspirations. So we sat down and both have, 18 plus years experience. So we have pretty extensive networks and we've seen a lot. So we sat down and brainstormed, what industry do we want to serve? What type of business? B2B, D2C, right? We decided consumer. We said, what problem do we want to solve? Something authentic to us. We are busy working moms. What's the biggest problem that we want to solve? When our kids have meltdowns. It drains us. And it really impacts the energy of the home and our relationships with our kids and our spouses. So
Yeah.
we decided that was the problem we wanted to solve. What causes that problem? We researched. A lot of tantrums are tied to meal times. And then Nicole, we were literally at the brainstorming table and prioritizing what problem we want to solve, what solutions we want to focus on, and then is that solution viable for a business, right? Do the numbers make sense? Will it be profitable? Will it be easy to scale? Can we leverage our networks to help enter the market? All of that. We weren't going to start something unless it was going to
Be
really
successful.
have a chance,
Yeah. Yeah.
from the start. And she, at that table, pulled out a box of sprinkles and said, hey, I grew up in Amsterdam and we like eat sprinkles on toast for breakfast. And it's called hagelslag. And I said, what are you talking about?
Wait, it was your best friend and you'd never seen her like do this?
No, she said, because our oldest are both the same age, but they go to different schools. So I don't know what she packs him for lunch. And she's like, yeah, I can't bring him to school with peanut butter. So I pack him what I grew up eating, which is toast with butter and chocolate sprinkles. But they're Dutch. She gets them from Holland. And I was like, oh my gosh, my kids would love that. And they love anything with sprinkles on them. And guess what? Like most tantrums are tied to meal times for a variety of reasons. But if we can make mealtime more fun and give the kids more control, because they're losing control, during that time. That's also a little bit of a root cause of the tantrums. Maybe sprinkles are the answer, and it's working. In Amsterdam, the Netherlands actually have the happiest kids in the world. If you look at the UNICEF report, no, I'm serious.
Really?
We
Oh,
literally started researching. That's the number one country in the world with the happiest kids.
oh,
They eat
interesting.
30 million pounds of these sprinkles every year, and there's an entire grocery aisle dedicated to them.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just thought, okay, this is the thing. It's shelf stable. We don't need refrigeration. It's lightweight. It's cheap to ship, easy to ship. It's very versatile. It has like a capability to go viral, possibility to like for virality. It's really nice and fun to create content with. Like, let's do sprinkles. So we found an importer in Michigan.
How did you do that?
I swear this all happens at the table, like that same day.
Is this like your dining room table? You're just
Like Nicole's dining room table.
all of this happened in one day. You going through this like
The
discovery and
idea and like the whole we just got on a roll, and we called this company, Holland Foods of America in Michigan. We called them. We're like, "Hey, what does it take to like get your pricing catalog if you guys sell Hagelslag?" And they're like, "Yeah, we'll send it to you." We got it. They sell boxes of the brand that's a 100-year-old brand of Hagel for $4 a box. We're like, "Great, it's going for on Amazon for $15. Let's sell it for $9.99 and undercut them, and we'll just make a profit, and we'll just be an online reseller of Hagel." That's what we thought we would be, an e-com
okay,
business.
okay, right.
And
Oh my God.
w-
This is
I
funny.
know. And so the guy said, "Okay, so if you want to place an order with us, I think the minimum amount was like you have to spend $250 and you have to be in a corporation." So we got our LLC like 2 days later. We came up with our name. It was going to be Hagel Moms. And we thought we'll be the Hagel Moms and we'll just sell Hagel. And we ordered a couple cases and we got it. And then we made a website. It was called, we said, no one knows of Hagel Moms. We had to think of something with sprinkles because here in America, like no one knows what that is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So we thought Sprinkle Bites. It's more than a sprinkle, it's a bite. Like, cause it's like tasty and it's flavorful and it's all natural and it's like much better than what we have here.
yeah.
So we sold them as the Sprinkle Bite shop. Like we were a shop and everyone loved them. We started getting sales online. We started doing pop ups in town,
Wait a minute. So
introducing people.
just to back it
Yeah.
up, so you create this website, Sprinkle
Yeah.
Bites. Did you create your own different packaging than what was being
No,
imported? So
we were just going to be a reseller of this Dutch sprinkles. We just called them Dutch sprinkles and it was a brand that already existed. It was all legal. Like we were able to like buy it
resell it.
wholesale
Yeah.
if we're a company,
Right.
right? And we're a
Yeah.
reseller, like a retailer. And then it got to a point where like about 2 months in, we probably made, I don't know, 5,000 in sales, maybe. We thought, okay, people are liking it. They understand they can now have sprinkles on toast. That's like exciting to people here. But they didn't like the sugar in it. They asked, well, do you have lower sugar, reduced sugar? 16 grams of sugar in a serving. It's
Oh,
a lot.
okay. Yeah.
And there was no nutritional benefit. And it still had the wax coating, and all that. So we were like, we're going to become sprinkle manufacturers, aren't we? Like, what is happening? We both had our day job. I have 3 kids. She has 2 kids. We really going to become like sprinkle manufacturers? But then we started researching and the market is huge. And Amazon sales for that category were tremendous. And there were one company that had sugar-free sprinkles, nothing else. Everything else was the same ingredients as regular sprinkles, except they took the sugar out and it was full of stevia, xylitol, erythritol, like everything you can name. And it was like super sweet. When you use like too many alternatives for a sweetener, it like
Then
is
it's
too
too
sweet.
much. Yeah.
And then the other options were for healthy sprinkles were regular sprinkles that were gluten-free and dye-free, but everything else the same. And all made primarily alongside other baking ingredients. So like frostings and glitter and piping stuff. Like those companies were baking companies,
Right.
right? And decorating. And we were like, no, like we want to make sprinkles that are actually serving a purpose. Like they're going to deliver, they're going to sneak in the good stuff
With a benefit.
and we're going
Yeah.
to take out the bad stuff and we're going to sneak in the protein because that was the number one function that health conscious parents wanted more of for their kids. And 1 in 7 school age kids don't get enough protein in their daily intake and they only need 20 grams. But kids are picky. They're all picky eaters. They don't like to eat meat. They don't like to eat beans. They don't like to eat high protein foods that are natural. So we're like, okay, we're going to start there and we'll just create fun food that are functional. So like functional soda, like Poppy, created that category, right? Why not have functional fun food? So like everything that everyone loves, just make it serve a purpose and just start taking out the bad stuff and replacing it with better ingredients, but not like cookies, like things that you're just already using in your day to day as a way to like appease your picky eaters, or just toppings for your things you're already doing, right? Not create a new habit.
Which makes it easy when it's already part of your regimen.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was a huge white space that just doesn't exist. So we totally invented something brand new. Invented it, our own recipe
What? What
from
I
nothing.
what I love about this, just to start, is the fact that you started, like you just said, let's go. And then you figured out that this is the path, but we need to adjust it to make it more meaningful and make more sense to what we really want to do versus
Yeah.
saying, I don't know if it's the right thing and not doing anything, which I think is pretty amazing. So, how did you create this formula?
So tons of research. Every morning I wake up at 5 a.m. Every night before bed, I'd be up all night. Like my husband would be like, where are you? What are you doing? Like I couldn't stop. I joined every online community, WhatsApp groups, Googled stuff, watched YouTube videos. I learned about every way that sprinkles are made today and everything about their ingredient today and what purpose it serves for the mouthfeel, for the texture, for the crunch, for the softness, for the color, like all of it. And I looked up alternates. Like I just Googled and researched and read articles on like, what's a replacement for this? What's a replacement for this? Then I went onto Amazon and I ordered bulk on a bunch of different ingredients and I made them in my kitchen. I hand piped in my kitchen, sprinkles, lines on parchment paper.
Oh
And
my
I
gosh.
started off
Wow.
with chocolate. I was like, I'm going to go with fair trade, organic cacao superfood powder, like the real superfoods. And I found like really great suppliers that I could just buy a bag of. And I did that with the plant-based proteins powder, unflavored plant, and then the cacao to make chocolate
Hmm.
and tapioca starch. What else did I use? A little bit of monk fruit powder, and that was it. Like pretty much it. Like vanilla, that's it. And I had my kids taste test a bunch of different versions. And once I realized I was like onto something, I went on to groups and I looked up food scientists, which I never knew existed before.
Yeah.
Because I'm from like tech. I've never been in the food and bev industry. So I looked up food scientists and I thought, okay, I'm at this point. If I'm gonna make a claim, I come from tech, but specifically for pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
So pharma companies are the main users of the tech that I've been a part of. And so I knew that world of the FDA and the regulations on like what you can and cannot claim. And I knew that applied to food,
Yeah.
right? So I knew at some point if I'm going to claim things, I have to like talk to someone, a specialist, because I don't want to get dinged down the road. So I found on, I think it was Startup CPG Slack group, someone asking a question. And then I looked at the comments and I saw someone responding. So a lot of times I'd see if someone asked the question that I had, and
Mm.
then I would look at the responses and I would DM those people who responded in like a
Okay.
good way,
Yeah.
right? Like a high
Yeah.
quality answer that was specific. And I reached out to this woman who's in California, and she had come from Cliff Bar for 20 years. Specialized in protein. She was
An
amazing.
expert, right?
A very affordable hourly rate. I had a few meetings with her. She recreated my recipe for her from her kitchen, recreated it, and then had a really nice template for mapping out the percentages of my recipe into a formula that could be manufactured at scale, right? So broke it down into percentages
Yeah.
and then told me what is claimable as a complete protein, right? And I didn't know any of that. She taught me all that. And then I realized 5 grams, if I can get a kid 5 grams, that doubles up their peanut butter and jelly, right? Because peanut butter on toast is like 5, 6 grams. You put a packet of our chocolate sprinkles on that, you're getting
Extra
the kid
five.
10 grams of
Yeah.
protein. That's
Yeah.
half their day, half their
Right.
daily intake in one packet. And then the other trend in the market and what the data was showing me in market research reports was that convenience was the next request. It was protein, convenience, and lower sugar. So I know fiber is becoming a thing, and there's so many other cool trends happening in nutrition, but I had to start somewhere. Those were the top 3 things that were most authentic and relatable to me. And also, the data proved that
Those were the
there's a
top
need.
ones. Yeah.
People want that. So that's what we started first. And the recipe, our food scientists vetted it. I felt good with it. And then I made maybe 50 little baggies of them, the chocolate.
Still out of your kitchen.
So this happened June, July, August. 3 months, I was in my home kitchen with the food scientist back and forth, made them, got a good batch, 50 little bags. I booked a flight to LA. Friday, Saturday, back to back, there were 2 events happening. There was a Female Founder World Summit, and there was a startup CPG, their very first like female founder event, which was a brunch with Thrive Market. Okay. For 20 people. That's it. I applied and got in. I had nothing. I applied and got in. So I was like, this is a sign I'm flying out.
Wait a
I'm
minute, what
going to
kind of
both
story
events.
did you tell without even having the product that got them excited and said, "Yes,
I
come
filled
out"?
out their application and my vision and what I was making and
That's
the
awesome.
product and everything. And I think they just appreciated what I was tackling and
The
they knew there
innovation.
was a white space and the
Yeah.
innovation, right? And I got there. I was also preparing not to get into the brunch. So the funny part is I booked my flight and was like, no matter what, I'm going to go to this summit event and network with people. And since I'm there, I will bring the bags. And I wrote a hand note letter to the head category manager from Thrive with printed out mock-ups. I photoshopped my product, okay, on the Thrive Market app on my phone and I took screenshots and I
Mm.
like did the whole customer journey, right? This is what it's going to look like on the home screen on the on this in
I
this
love
category. This is
this.
going to look the checkout.
Yes,
This is what
Rachel.
it's going to look in our cart with the price discount because you know you offer benefits to your members that like always a discount because
Smart.
you're paying $12 a month. So I had it all. This was last September, so a little over a year ago. And then I hand wrote it and I was like, so these sprinkles came all the way from Pennsylvania for you. I hope, you know, if you're interested, I'll be in the lobby because I didn't expect to get it accepted, but I was physically there. So I'm just going to go to the Culver City Hotel, give it to the hostess, tell them to give it to the people up in the event, and then I'll wait in the lobby and see her when she comes down. That was my plan.
Oh my gosh.
And I got in. I got in. So I sat at that brunch. Who was around me? You don't even understand. I literally we all had to get up and give a little spiel on what we're building. There was the CEO of a protein bar company that like just got acquired for $150 million. CEO of another protein bar that's killing it. CEO of another like a hot sauce company that's literally she was like on the stock exchange ringing the bell. Like these women
Wow.
I didn't know really, I didn't know a lot of them at the time. Now I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I was in the room with them." At the time, I just thought, "These are, like, successful people, like, these brands are cool brands." I didn't know to that level,
Level.
like,
Yeah.
who I was with. And then after the event, we went around and talked. One of the fellow female founders who was at the table, who has since blown up with her company, she's tracking to make 40 million in sales this year. She launched also April 2024, her product. She wrote me my first check, my first investment check. Yeah,
Really?
she called me 2 days later and was like, "I just really impressed with you, and I believe in what you're doing, and I believe that you're gonna be the person to do this, and I wanna write you my first
Wow.
check." I mean, it
Gosh.
was nothing big. She was like, "It's my first angel investment, but I'm excited and I wanna do it." And I was like, "That's so crazy, but awesome." And I made my first, like, safe note and got it all done. And then after that, I knew
Yeah, I mean,
something.
that was like tangible, like evidence that you were on the right track, right? And that what you were doing really was something that was just for you to do and bring to the world. That's amazing. So I'm sure that like motivated you and pushed you to like really go when you left that event.
Yeah, I mean, it did. It's and Nicole too, but, you know, it's hard when you're seeing the possibility, you're seeing the vision. You wanna hurry up and get there, but there was so much we had to do. I mean, we weren't even close to getting there. We had plastic baggies, like, that said, "Made with love from Philadelphia." There was no nutrition label. It was like, "Do not share," like, "Not for resale."
Taste at your own discretion. No. So,
Yeah.
so what did you
I mean,
do when you?
literally, like, I didn't have a license to sell. I didn't have a commercial kitchen. And it's like, but in my head, I was like, I gotta be on every shelf in every grocery store ever. Or like, I gotta go viral on TikTok now, you know? And then you throw yourself into it because you're excited. If you're like a real entrepreneur, you can't temper the excitement and the eagerness to get the validation, right? To keep getting that validation, to keep getting to the next milestone so that you can get the okay that you need to take the next risk,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because I'm not a very big risk taker. So I kept needing to accomplish something big again and again and again and again before I would
Feel like you could comfortably go to
put
that
more
next.
of my because I'm bootstrapping. So like Am I going to feel comfortable putting more of my money in? Am I going to feel comfortable like taking more vacation days from my daytime job to do these things? Am I going to keep staying up all night and like not being as present with my family and
Yeah.
like doing all that stuff and then feeling guilt because I couldn't control that part so well in the beginning, in the first 6 months after that LA trip. It's hard. Like my son, I'm filming this. My son is right in front of me asking me to play chess. And I'm like,
It's the
you
consistent
know what?
multitasking of it all.
And he knows I love him. And okay, here, baby.
So
It's
after
hard. It's
that,
hard.
yeah, what were next steps when you went back home? Like, what was the first thing you
Yeah.
did?
Yeah. I made a plan. I revised my plan. I kept making a project plan over and over and over again. It's like I have to write the same to-do list 5 times until it like sticks in my brain. I No, I got to work. I got organized and I was like, okay, I'm a very like systems ops oriented person. I organized all my Google Docs folders and I said, okay, we're going to have a manufacturing work stream. We're going to have a supply chain work stream. We're going to have a work stream. We're going to have a whole like legal banking. We're going to get our Squarespace site that I'd made over to Shopify. We're going to have that tech work stream. We're going to do some finance, educating myself on like, we're going to make a financial plan and like do pricing calculators. How am I going to price this? What do my margins need to be at? What do I need to learn there? So like every tab, or I had a folder for each and then I had a different plan for each work stream. So I got organized. What did I do next? I got organized. I broke it down into work streams that were manageable, made tasks with deadlines, specific things that I wanted to check off and get done by a certain amount of time, on a certain amount of, in a certain amount of days.
Yeah.
I knew I had to rely on my network and ask people for help and go to the experts, outsource things that needed to be outsourced in each of those work streams. I found people that charged hourly for different things, right? For like fractional CFO type support, Shopify support, content creation support, even Amazon support. And I just asked people in my network, the founders that I met, the other founders, joined additional communities, and I just started checking it off. Like, okay, got all my legal formation documents in a row, got all my new investors updated safe so I can take on some more funding from friends and family. I know my margins are going to be 70% or higher off the top because everything's going to go lower and lower if I enter retail. All of it.
So before you went out and got your first investor, was that something that was even in your mindset of doing? Is that how you envisioned kind of financing the business?
I thought Nicole and I would each put in 10 grand and get it going, which we did. And then that first check, it was about 5 grand. And we thought, okay, that's enough to take us from September to February. I ended up getting two more $5,000 checks from a friend and my sister. So with that, we got from September, we got our commercial kitchen in place, started paying rent for that. We got approval from the Department of Ag from Pennsylvania that we could like make the product safely and we can sell it and everything, our license. We paid for the Shopify site. We paid for some more legal things like revising the safe note in case we wanted to do future rounds, everything submitted with the SEC properly. We knew we would have to fundraise eventually if we went into retail. So we wanted to have all that ready. We had like an operating agreement made between me and Nicole, like formalizing that and setting equity aside in case we want to bring on advisors in the future and for equity or something like that. And what else did we use the funding? Oh, to buy packaging. We bought our first packets to get a little bit of help designing them and purchasing ingredients so we could make enough. That's where all the money went in the first 6 months.
And then was the initial plan then to sell on your website?
Yeah. So the initial plan was we're going to launch online. We're just going to do Shopify, Meta ads. Eventually we'll be on Amazon. Eventually we'll be on TikTok Shop, but just advertise a little bit here and there on Meta and get social, like organic social posts and just drive traffic to our Shopify site. And then we walked the floor at Expo West. We walked the floor at Fancy Food, the winter show. And we made a bunch of introductions there. We learned a lot. We got people to like buy products a little bit on Shopify just to test and like get the word out. We got a little bit of press. And so that was really nice. And again, the next like milestone hit, to keep going. There was nice validation in those trade shows and people we met there. And then we decided okay, if we're really going to do this, like we can only handle our capacity was making 100 stick packets a week. That's all we could make. So we couldn't advertise and market because we couldn't make enough. So we were just selling 100 a week. And like that was great. But then we'd go to these shows and everyone would be like, well, what's your plan? Like, where's your manufacturer? How are you going to scale up? You should be in retail. Like you're going to kill it. Like repeat velocity, like grab and go, like impulse buys at
Trialing it.
POS.
Yeah.
And when you're at these shows and you're networking to learn and to get confirmation to keep going, right? You want to hear it firsthand from like the buyer at Rayleigh's or the buyer at, a ShopRite or whoever. Like you want to hear it from them that like, yes, one day we would totally consider this or one day we could see this working. Like I needed to hear those words to keep going, even if my strategy was to go D2C first because highest margins, fastest cash flow in,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
D2C product is this was prime for that. So it wasn't like ever our idea to go into retail in the first year. Like that wasn't our plan. We thought we're going to let's make maybe 50, 60, 70,000 in sales online in year one. We'll get enough cash that way.
Yeah.
We'll maybe raise 100K more from friends and family, and we'll build a nice following of people that are loyal to our brand. And then we'll go into retail, like 2, 3, 4 retailers that have a health conscious focus. Our customers are shopping there. We know they're going to look for it there. They're immediately going to go buy it because they're buying from us online. That's our plan. That's always been our plan. And then at that point, we can handle going in low and also direct. We're going to go just DSD. We're not going to go to UNFI and KE. We're just going to take on direct retailers. And, we will go slow. And then when we have traction, then we'll go into the distribution and we'll raise $1 million seed round and we're good, right? In your end of year 2. We thought that was our first 2-year plan, which is so smart, I will say. I want to give myself a little bit of credit here, right? Like that, I think, and I would recommend that to anybody that has a shelf stable product that has a long shelf life, that is easy to ship. I recommend that.
I was just going to say it also allows for you to test out, understand whether it's packaging, pricing, all of those things, gathering your consumer and community. So to your point, when you then go to retail, you already have the people that are going to go out immediately and buy your product and they already know what it is. And you don't have
Yeah.
that kind of break in like education, getting new consumers into buying something on the shelf that typically, they need to understand and it wasn't there before, especially in a new category.
Yeah. We're creating a new category. Our product needs a lot of education. That's been a lot of founders or early business downfalls from what I've learned. A lot of other companies in CPG that haven't survived, a lot of them required a lot of education. They're either like needing space in frozen or refrigerated. They're really expensive to make, so their margins aren't good from the beginning. 3, there's needs too much education. Like those are the 3 themes that I'm seeing in people's stories that haven't
That it's hard for them to get
really
the
that it's hard for them.
traction. Yeah.
It's challenging. And honestly, we've built this business where our margins are where they need to be. Like, and it's just going to keep getting better, right? So we don't have any economies of scale right now, and we're doing 70% margins D2C. So that's great. The shelf stable, great. We don't need to be it's competitive, obviously, but it's not as competitive in the like grocery sets. And then 3, that's where we're going to need to focus to educate. Like that has been a challenge. And so the best way, I would say the most time efficient, scalable, and cost efficient way to educate our customers is online. So I post just raw footage of me talking about the product and educating on TikTok every day. I barely get any views some days, but I'm posting
You're
every
putting
day,
it out there.
once a
Yeah.
day. And I post multiple times a day on Instagram. I just hired a content manager to help me, like a contractor. She's not full time or on W-2 or anything, but she now took over my Instagram and Facebook, which has been a dream. But I'm using social media to educate, and then in the store, demos. Like anytime I could be out there physically, like at talking to people at events, popping up places, networking with people, like emailing with customers. Like I'm trying so hard to like educate on the use case.
Just to back up as you're talking about stores. So we hear you. You initially went online to sell D2C. You were going to these shows. People were saying, hey, we could see you in retail, and that's a great way to scale. So, what made you decide to go to retail? And then what's that story and how you
Yeah.
got into your first
How did we
retailer?
divert off our path?
Off your path, off your 2-year plan. Who convinced
We
you to
did
go
a
to
little.
retail?
It's such a good question. So we diverted a little, but this is why I wanted to talk to you because I felt like not a lot of people talk about the first 1, 2, 3 years. Like, or they do talk about it, but when they're in year 5 and 6. So they forget the nitty-gritty,
Yeah, the
right?
challenges.
They
Yeah,
only remember the things that stick with them, the challenges that stick with them, but
yeah,
not like that are living in it. And I wanted to talk about what we're dealing with while I'm still in it,
yeah. I love that.
you
Yeah,
know? And we got diverted, to be honest. Like, yeah, you walk these shows. I wanted to get it in front I wanted to get SprinkleBites in front of these people that I put up on pedestals to hear it from their mouths that this is going to work or has a chance,
yeah.
right? They would buy it or give me feedback on my packaging, which they did, so I can iterate before I go to the masses.
Hmm.
I want it to be as good as possible before I go. I iterated my packaging 3 times before we launched. Between January and April, I iterated my packaging and paid for packets 3 versions of my
Based
design
on people's feedback and
based
what
on
you
people.
were.
Yes, yes. And not just anybody, like big accounts that would be future accounts of
Yeah,
mine, you
yeah.
know? And it was like I heard it enough times.
The
I heard the
same
feedback from enough
comments.
people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't just from one person, right? Okay, hear it enough. Let's do that. Let's do that. It's important. It's important. But in that effort of my strategy being let me go to all these shows and educate myself and all these networking events and community CPG events to learn, people who've been around for 20 plus years in the industry and are on the boards of different associations you trust, right? And they come to you and say, you have such a good opportunity in retail. Or they'll say, how many doors are you in? Or an investor will come up to you and you get all excited because they write checks that aren't huge and they work with small brands. And you're like, oh, maybe I'll get investment from an angel. They'll say, how many doors are you in? And the only success metric was how many doors I was in. Nobody was saying, "You just launched and you're only online. Oh, how many sales
How's
did
it
you get?
doing?
Or how
Right.
many customers do you have? Or what's your feedback been like? Or
How
like,
have you
tell
been
me,
scaling the
like,
past couple months? Yeah.
right, how quickly have you adjusted based off of feedback? How, like, the other success metrics when you're in your first 6 months of business, especially with a D2C brand. And I'm telling you, my plan is to win online first,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Or tell me, hey, good for you, you got your cogs down like that. Like, good for you, you found a manufacturer who would stop their sprinkle line of making millions and millions of sugary, hard sprinkles. It's a cash cow for them. You got them to stop it to put your recipe exclusively on their line. That's huge.
That's huge.
And how about that as a win? And
Yeah.
no, I was brainwashed into thinking I needed to get into stores. Number of stores. That's what
That's
everyone
all
cares
they
about.
asked about.
And so I brought on a part-time like growth officer and I thought, okay, I don't have the relationships with these buyers. Some of them totally wrote back to me. I don't know how, but I'm pretty good at cold reaching out to people. Like I get a good response. I have a high response rate. And I think it's just because I'm who I am. Like I'm just going to write what I want to say, and ask for what I want to ask for. And if they don't respond, then it's not for me yet. So I just do it and I have nothing to lose. I just want to make friends. That's how my perspective is, right? I just go into it saying, let's learn about each other. Let's become friends. If you believe that you want to be friends with me one day, that means you probably want to work with me and that you'll give me advice or you'll follow me along the way and one day you'll want to work with me. So it puts the stress off, right?
Yeah. The
So I just
pressure.
cold call people like that with that mentality and everyone responds and I do well, but at fast, I wanted to see results fast, right? So I brought on this person to help go down her list of Rolodex. They're all going to respond. They know her
Hmm.
and we'll get that validation very, very quickly. We'll understand how much, like what size POs we would get, how much money we would make, what's the volume size people order in their first order, what velocity numbers they're going to be looking for to drive weekly velocities off shelf. Like what are those metrics? What are they looking for? I'll learn a lot. And then maybe we'll pick and choose one or two of them to actually go into to stores, but we will get our name out there and like maybe I get into 200 stores so I don't seem like a newbie when I'm at these shows,
Hmm.
right?
But the overall goal was more just about like education, connecting with these
It was
retailers
still
to
education. I
understand.
wasn't yeah, because I
Yeah.
didn't have the capital to go all in, like 1,000 doors. I didn't have the funding. So I knew I could only fund from myself, Nicole, and maybe some additional angels or friends and family, maybe like 100 stores, 200 stores, right? Which is
Yeah.
like 2 retailers, let's say, to start or 3. I thought that would be the end goal by the end of 2025. That's how many stores we'll be in. And we'll generate some more cash flow and we'll learn. That way we could say we're in stores. So I did that, right? So starting in April in 2025. We got on Amazon, we got on TikTok Shop, we're still pushing meta ads. I did a little 2-month course on meta ads. So I'm proficient in that and I optimize our ads myself and I make our ads and we're getting over 2x ROAS. We do really, really well. And while we're building online, we're like talking to all these retailers and we're getting UNFI codes and we're getting all this stuff. And I thought we're doing really well. But then guess what? All of the costs start showing up. The reality is what knew all along, but I didn't want to face it was because of my ego. Let's be honest, because I loved announcing that, like, oh, we're taking meetings with this big company, or we got accepted to be on shelf at this store. I wasn't paying attention to like the allowances, right? Or the
Yeah.
cost per SKU to get it set up
Yeah.
in a distributor. And all of those add up. And so I ended up only saying yes to Thrive Market, which was my dream since
Initial.
day one,
Right.
right? My whole
The vision that you
reason for
had when you went
the
out
vision
there.
that I
Right.
had.
Right.
I said yes to them and it's direct, it's very smooth. It's like a nice transition almost from online, from D2C to retail. And so for me and for our product and for our customers and monetarily, it worked out really well. So I was like, I took that on and then I said yes to one other retailer that invited us to come out to their headquarters, invited us, found us, and brought us out. And they have like 300 stores plus, and it was amazing. The education they provided, the support they've provided, the patience they've had, the willingness to collaborate on like we still haven't launched because we're still planning together. Like how are we going to get this to succeed from day one? Let's not rush it, you know? And I just appreciated that. And so I was like, you know what? I don't need to be in all these stores. I need to be in contact and plant seeds. I need to be building relationships with
Right.
all of them.
Right. But
And
doesn't
I
mean you have to
enjoy
be in
that.
there today.
It doesn't mean I have to be in there today.
Yeah.
I called my UNFI account reps from different retailers and I said, "Okay, can we hold off? Are you going to be like expiring me or whatever you do, turning me off if I delay this a little bit?" And they were like, "No, go for it. We appreciate that. We value that." I loved talking to my account manager face to face on Zoom. So he knows who I am and I am a person and I am smart. And he was so appreciative of that and was like, "Whatever you need, I won't finish this paperwork or that paperwork. We'll just like pace it." And I rather have you succeed than have you be put on shelf in 6 months and then not have the demand. And now you have all these chargebacks, your product's not moving, and we're going to have to discontinue you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want that.
No.
So that's what we're literally in the middle of right now. I'm in the middle of, I just filled all of my purchase orders with Thrive. Hopefully, everybody
That's amazing.
listening will be shopping on Thrive Market and putting
Yes.
some SprinkleBites
In their
into their
cart.
carts on subscription. And, that's going to be live any day. And then we're going to continue to work through that West retailer in the West that we're collaborating with. It's very health focused and we're super excited to launch with them in like January, February. And that'll be about 200 doors or so. And then we are re-engaging with our rep over at Unify and like making a game plan to start with a umbrella retailer that has like many, many stores and different levels. So we're going to have like nice pull from them and we're making a plan for that. So there's still more paperwork we have to finish up, but I feel confident in that. But I think that's manageable. And then just focus online, focus on killing it on Amazon and killing it on TikTok Shop, getting some more affiliate and learning, looking at the data once the data starts coming in from those retailers, right? And then hopefully we'll hit 500,000 sales with that strategy by like mid-year next year, get the data in by May, June, adjust for the second half of the year so we can improve those velocities on shelf, add some more stores, keep building online. I want to hit 1 million in sales by year end 2026.
That's amazing. I mean, I think it's also really great that you're partnering with a retailer that's going to help in building the awareness and the education versus going into a retailer that you're going to be on shelf and you have to figure it out all out on your own. So it just means, I mean, I'm sure you feel that they're working with you and really partnering with you and want to see you succeed versus, hey, what are you going to do to drive sales? And then you're trying to figure that out and, do the things and may not come to fruition in the manner and the quickness that it needs to.
Yeah, and I will be very specific, right? I will give you specifics on what that means. It means they have that particular retailer, for example, they have registered dietitians in the stores. We should educate them on our product so that they know how to talk to their customers that it exists, right? They are going to start giving GLP-1 drugs at their pharmacy in their stores. We should be putting shelfers, like shippers, in that area where they're getting those shots. Prime target. They have a kid center. They have kid centers in all their stores. Great. Give samples of the SprinkleBite to those kids at the centers for free. Where's the placement going to be for the demos when we come in? Where is it going to sit on shelf? It can live with the regular sprinkles. Fine. From a category standpoint for retailers, it's very hard to figure out where we belong from a data
I was going
measurement
to ask
perspective.
you that. Where's the best place in store?
Yeah. They're going to put it, most of them, in the bakery. But what I love is when you look at that and you're trying to innovate, look at what's around there. So in this particular retailer, they have a health store within a store. It's like a section of the store where there's a little market and it's all like better for you products, right? So there's the main bakery aisle and then there's the better for you bakery aisle. And that's where it has all the gluten-free bakery stuff and the sugar-free bakery stuff and the protein packed bakery stuff, which is also in the same aisle shared with the better for you cereals and the protein cereals and the oatmeals and the granolas, the toppings and the nut butters. So they're all right there. So actually all of our use cases are there. So we are going to be part of that gluten-free baking set for measuring us against the one other sprinkle brand that's in that set. The people that are also there shopping for the Three Wishes cereal, the
Mm,
Kodiak cake, waffles to get more nutrition for their kids and the waffles,
it's
right?
right there.
And it's right there.
Yeah.
So it worked very well because they already have that existing versus me just saying, oh, I want to go be in Whole Foods because that's what everybody thinks success looks like. But guess what? The store's not set up for me to succeed right now. In the future, totally. And I talk to them all the time. I know the buyers. It's not like I'm not planting seeds,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
part of that connection that you're building in relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what I appreciate with this retailer. It's like they're excited about testing it out in all these places and like seeing what works. They're just as excited about that as I am. So, yeah.
That's exciting. So what plans do you have in regards to being able to, drive sales and get some trials from launch?
So I am focused on, I think getting trial and getting to launch is like, to me, it's going to be demos. Like we need to be there, physically be there. So I am evaluating certain partners because I can't fly out west all the time. I'm based in the East Coast. So for the retailers up in New York and the Northeast, I can totally drive there. I'm going to be there all the time. The ones local to Philly, I'm going to be there. The ones in the West, I'm going to be there probably like once a month, maybe. But then I want to hire like a brand ambassador, or there's a couple of companies out there that are really good about supporting with demos. And there's like some actually that are like, even I will go as far as to say mom founder friendly, like that specific, which is so nice. And I want to
Yeah.
support other mom founders
Yeah.
too. So I'm leaning in towards working with some of those. So I'm excited to like explore those opportunities and make sure we do weekly demos at all the stores in the beginning, probably the first 30 days, like the first month at least. And then we can move back to like maybe bi-weekly demos at all the stores and then monthly demos and so forth. But like we're going to need to be like boots on the ground.
How are you building inventory to support the launch?
Great question. So our MOQ was very high with that manufacturer, and it was based on a per color. So we had to make thousands of pounds of sprinkles per color. So I chose chocolate, cocoa, and we were going to launch with berry at first, and we were just going to limit it to blue and pink mixed. And I actually exhibited at the Summer Fancy Food Show at the Javits Center this past summer, sampled both the pink and the blue, and hands down, everyone loved the blue. And they said, save your money for the first run, just launch with one color for the color and just call it blueberry. And I was like, fine. So I launched with chocolate and blueberry. So it's not multicolored yet. We don't have like a rainbow sprinkles yet, but we have an amazing lineup of formulas and recipes because they all have flavor. So they all have a taste. They are all superfoods based. They are all, they have the plant pea protein in them. And so we've made 4,000 pounds of chocolate and 4,000 pounds of blueberry, have them in 50-pound food grade bags in our warehouse that were delivered to us. And that was a big milestone day. 8,000 pounds of sprinkles delivered. So exciting. No more hand piping. I hand
Right.
piped for 6 months. So now the inventory, and it has like a 9 to 12 months shelf life. So we're pretty good. So we're fully stocked. We just need to package them. So every time we get a PO or a big order, I'm hand filling the packets with the sprinkles, heat sealing, putting the packets in the 10-pack box in a carton that's tear off, shelf ready, but it's nice for pantries organization. And then those go in a case of 6. So a case is 6 10-pack boxes. 10-pack boxes, 10 stick packets. The packets are resealable for on the go, grab and go. And they are hand filled. I have not found any machine in the entire country that will that will autofill the dimensions that I have with the reseal zip seal. Not one.
Wow.
So I custom designed them so that they would be 17 grams, which are 5 grams of complete protein, and fit enough sprinkles will fit on one piece of toast. So the packaging was very
Mm.
specifically designed for the, ideal use
Right.
case
Yeah.
and the nutrition needed. We found 2 hours away in Pennsylvania, a company will automatically fill the packets for us at scale. But again, they want to fill all of it at once, like 140,000 packets at once, and pay for it up front and not have it be resealable, have it just be a tear off. So we decided we're going to go with that. We're just going to do it. Yeah. And I had the opportunity to meet with Justin Gold from Justin's. He's wonderful. And he really advised me on like, listen, you got to start somewhere. Single serve is fine. I wanted to put my nut butters into packets and everyone thought I was ridiculous, but I figured it out. But I wanted to do some amazing things that were so expensive. And everyone just said, just do a simple, cost effective tear off thing. Don't make it all crazy unless your customers are asking for it. And I just decided, you know what, you're right. Start. We'll reintroduce the zipper later if needed. And so that's what we're going to do to scale. And we're doing that within the next 2 months, and we'll be ready to go.
Yeah. I think that's smart though too, because I hear, sometimes when you're a little bit too specialized in your packaging, that leads to challenges if you need to, if one manufacturer isn't able to support that inventory and that's your only go-to, right? But if you have something that's more mass appeal from a cost perspective, coupled with ability to kind of get it from various places if you need to.
Yeah. And it has the hang holes too. So you have it's very versatile packaging for merchandising. So I'm keeping all of that for like clip strips and hang holes and stuff. So we're excited about that. So now I have to get my packets ordered from my packaging company as on a roll stock instead of pre-form. And that'll get delivered in a couple weeks. We'll send it up north in Pennsylvania to a facility. It'll get all filled into the packets into the cartons into cases. It's cases, 84 cases on a pallet. They'll be palletized, and then we'll fully stock Amazon because I keep selling out, and then we'll fully stock ready for TikTok Shop, and when we'll fully stock all the POs that are going to come to us in Q1.
Now, with this, are you still working a full-time job and this?
This whole time I have been.
Really? Wow.
I haven't had a choice. I just didn't have a choice. I had to figure it out. It's been hard. I've tried a bunch of different things to manage my time, but I had to bring in an income and I enjoy what I do. I
Yeah.
built a whole career that long. I can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
How do
I
you
have
manage
been.
that? How do you manage kind of running this business and getting up off the ground, coupled with being a mom, being a wife, and having a full-time job?
Yeah. Well, flexibility to work remotely, not having to be in an office 9 to 5 helps. Not having like set hours, figuring out how to manage my own hours. So like I was high enough, right? I built my career long enough that I was at a position where I had that flexibility and trust and rapport with my network, my boss, knowing that I can get my work done with high quality on off hours, as long as I was available when he needed, available for my customers, doing everything I needed to do, fully committed, but having flexibility to do it whenever I needed. I fit it in and blocking my time, which I'm starting to do much, much better. Blocking my time by category. Also, I ended up hiring about 6 months ago, like an executive assistant. She's a real person. She's local. She lives like 30 minutes from me, and she just works 5 hours a week for me. So she manages my inbox basically, so that while I'm at my day job, my Sprinkle Bites mail is getting like organized and responses. So that at the end of the day on Google Docs on a sheet, I can go look at night and see like what came in, what action items I have.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So that's been really helpful. And then I will say Monday of this week was actually the first day that I'm not full time at my day job anymore.
Really?
Just this week,
That's a
the week that I'm
milestone.
on your
Wow.
podcast, the week that I'm on your podcast is the week that I updated my LinkedIn profile, my Rachel Kane one,
Wow. How
because
does
for the
that
last year
feel?
and a half, it feels good. It feels scary, but it feels good. I'm proud. And for the last year and a half, I've had to have a separate LinkedIn account called Sprinkle Bites Protein Sprinkle. Totally separate. Because who's gonna go onto my profile, Rachel Kane, on LinkedIn and see like all these pharma company connections and consulting connections and
Yeah.
tech company connections and think like this isn't the right Rachel, right?
Right.
They're not
Right.
going to believe
Yeah.
it's me. And so I wanted to build my whole CPG network from scratch. So now I have about 400 connections on LinkedIn from Sprinkle Bites that are like real quality people in this industry and resources, right? And so that's awesome. But today you will find Rachel Kane on LinkedIn and actually see my full time job is now part time as a consultant to them. I am full time CEO and co founder of Sprinkle Bites. And I've actually launched, it's called Co founder on Call. And I'm doing that as on
What is
part
that?
time as well. So you can visit mycofounderoncall.com and you can get a fractional co founder, which is me. It's not an AI, it's me who has turned an idea into a real business and tested it along the way to make sure it's viable and acted on an idea, right? I can do that, and I have a vast network of experts now that I've collected, right? So I can execute, not just I'm not a coach, I'm not a mentor, I'm not strategy. I'm let's sit down and you can pay for 90 minutes, you can pay for 4 weeks, or you can pay for 2 months. And that's it. And you get me as a co-founder. So if you're a solopreneur or you're sitting on an idea like me, like, you've lived a life and you've always wanted to do something and you're thinking of it, let's talk. Let's see. Let's test it out. Let's test the waters and let's put together a little pricing calculator for yourself. And let's put together a little like relationship map and see who you know. It could be a tech company, it could be consulting, it can be consumer, because I'm experienced in all of them. I think that this day and age, there's a lot of services for founders that are about 2 to 3 years in, but nobody, everyone says those are the
From the
emerging. They
beginning.
define emerging
Mm,
brands as those people. And I always felt like I wasn't getting the help that I needed because I was too early. But that's when you need it the most because you need to know if it's worth the risk. You need to know in year one. You need to know in the first 3 months. You need to write it on paper, draw it out. And it's hard to do that alone. So I have the time now and I'm thinking, I put a website together and I just figured I'm not going to blast it. I'm not sitting here trying to build a whole nother business, but if I can be helpful to people and I can bring in some extra income that way while I'm building Sprinkle Bites, let's see if it works and see if anyone needs my help.
I love that. And it is a really great resource because I hear a lot about, especially when you're an entrepreneur that's solo, that it's lonely, from the fact that you want to make decisions and you have no one to really bounce it off your idea off of or like your strategy around. Having somebody at that onset of that is definitely something I think that's going to be super helpful and viable. You have a lot of things happening, a lot of excitement going into 2026. I can't wait to see all of the things that you're talking about come to fruition. So can you kind of tell our listeners where they're going to be able to follow you, support you on your new LinkedIn profile, and of course, buy Sprinkle Bites?
Yeah, definitely. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Rachel Kane or Sprinkle Bites Protein Sprinkles. Either works. We are on Instagram at Sprinkle Bites Fun. We are on TikTok at Sprinkle Bites Shop. And you can buy us on sprinklebites.com. You can find us on Amazon. You can find us on TikTok Shop. And soon you can buy us on Thrive Market. and we're very excited about that. We're also in a few local indie shops, and we're a pop-up grocer for another couple months, and we'll be launching in Q1 at 2 big retailers. So please follow us so you can stay up
Excellent.
to date on the news on where to buy it. SprinkleBite.
Yes, thank you so much, Rachel. This is such a great conversation. And again, I am ultra excited to see the progression and what happens.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support and everything you do.
Yeah.